How am I? Telling you.
Harry Marks. Thank you. We can all
Yes.
play?
Sorry.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence for Harry Marks. Selectman Stanek, you had a few words.
Thank you, Madam First Selectwoman. Harry Marks died on July 5th of this year. He had been a select person, member of this board for 3 terms in the past. He was also a police commissioner, member of the Library Board of Trustees, and served on many other commissions. He was just one of the nicest guys in the world, and he served the town well. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but he would always say to me, I'd see him on election day, he would say, "Fred, even though you're a Democrat, we voted for you." He was a special person. God bless him. Thank you.
Item number 3, public comment. Is there any public comment? Public comment? No public comment. Can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes for the July 18th, 2024 regular meeting?
Make the motion to approve the June 18th, 2024 regular meeting.
Motion by
Second.
Trish Danka, second by Al Bruno. Discussion?
I just had a question on, is it Coachella paving or was it Coachiola?
I think
I think
Cochiola.
we just need to amend the minutes for the names in there. It's in there a couple of times where it's talked about.
Coachella Music Festival.
Coachella Music
Music
Festival.
Festival?
Yeah, right.
That
That's what it
sounded weird when
Music
I read
festival
it.
and
Yeah, I
paving
wasn't
company?
confident.
We will make the
The
amended changes. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Set a public hearing for Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6:00 p.m. in the Norma Drummer Room of the Seymour Town Hall, for the discussion of the Urban Action Grant for the downtown Seymour accessible and pedestrian improvements. This is in regards to the $250,000 grant that we got for the downtown area. A motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pat, second by Trish. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Okay, I need a motion to move item number 9 into executive session and make that 14B.
So moved.
Motion by Al Bruno,
Second.
second by Trish Danka. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Discussion with Nicole Velarde, Regional Coordinator for Demis Region 2 regarding emergency management trends in the state of Connecticut. Nicole, if you can just come up to the stand.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nicole Velarde. I'm the Region 2 Emergency Management Area Coordinator with the Connecticut Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. I've been asked to come and speak a little bit about the expectation of emergency management directors at the local level. So per state statute, Connecticut General Statute Title 28, each local CEO for select woman, mayor, etc., has to select an emergency management director for their local jurisdiction. The expectation of that local emergency management director is that they biannually update a local emergency operations plan. This plan needs to meet certain standards that are set forth by our division. That is a statutory requirement. They're also the oversight for any emergency preparedness teams, such as a community emergency response team or a CERT team. They have to oversee and make sure that the team is properly trained, issued the loyalty oath, and support any activations, and that includes any activation paperwork that needs to be submitted to my office. Those are the statutory requirements. Through DEMIS, we also have what are called regional emergency planning regions. So because there are no county governments in the state, DEMIS, our agency, has divided the state into 5 planning regions. Seymour is part of Region 2. We have what's called a regional emergency planning team. The expectation is that the emergency management directors from the 30 towns within Region 2 attend monthly steering committee meetings and quarterly REPT meetings. There's also an expectation that they participate in the development of a regional emergency support plan. So that is similar to the local emergency operations plan, but on a regional basis. And that they provide guidance on planning initiatives, equipment purchases, gaps assessments to further preparedness for the region. That also includes quarterly REPT meetings, the spending of our annually awarded Homeland Security Grant Program, and participation in emergency support function working groups. In addition to those responsibilities, we have seen a change in emergency management as a career over the last several years. It's no longer just emergency responses to natural disasters or terroristic events. The focus has shifted to more planning, preparedness, and mitigation efforts. So that includes administering and applying for grant programs, critical infrastructure assessments to assure that any critical infrastructure in the municipality is prepared and can handle any type of an emergency. That includes things like cyber attacks. So as cyber attacks have increased, the threat landscape has increasingly broadened, and we have to be more prepared for a wide range of emergencies. In regards to natural disasters, those are happening more frequently and with more intensity and greater magnitude. We used to see maybe one severe storm every once in a while, and now it seems like we're getting alerts almost every other day, especially during this season. So that is an overview. I'm happy to answer any questions and provide more specifics on the position if you have questions.
I have a few questions. Hi,
Sure.
thank you for coming. When was the state statute put into effect?
That's a great question. I don't know the exact date. I can certainly look into it
Sure,
and get
thank
back to you. I know that it has been around for quite some time.
Okay.
It established the need again for emergency management directors and for DEMIS as an agency.
Okay. And then you mentioned about annual Homeland Security grants? The
Yes.
towns get that?
So that is administered to the region.
Okay,
The towns do also get an annual grant that's called the Emergency Management Performance Grant.
okay,
So that's a per capita grant that comes from FEMA. So it's federal funds that come through the state and is administered to the locals. So to the towns. The towns are the sub-grantees, and that is also an annual grant.
and do we know how much we get? About?
I would have to verify. It's based on per capita.
Mhm.
The minimum is 5,000, and I believe Seymour is over that. I believe Seymour is allocated between 7,000 and 8,000.
It's $8,000.
And at this time, I take it Seymour does not have a local emergency director, or do we?
You do?
go ahead.
We
So
do.
statutorily, you're required to.
Right, okay.
We do. It's,
And who's that?
it is Chris Edwards. So Chris Edwards stepped in from when Amy
Right.
resigned.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, Trish, sorry.
Did someone else? You said Region 2 has 30 towns. So each town is required to have an emergency management director?
Yes.
But they work together to support a region as a whole, or just for their individual towns?
So they represent their individual towns, and because we don't have county government structure, we have the region in place to act as sort of middle ground between the local municipalities and the state. So they serve and are employed by or work for the town, but the expectation is that they do attend the regional meetings and participate in regional planning efforts.
The requirements are the same in each town, and your agency verifies that they're following what is covered by your agency as far as requirements go?
Yes. So there's 5 regions throughout the state of Connecticut. In Region 2, each region across the state functions a little bit differently, but in Region 2, which Seymour is a part of, the emergency management directors and the CEOs of the towns are expected to participate in the regional emergency planning team.
And what would you say the time commitment is for that? Either, I don't know how the best to ask that, on a weekly, monthly, quarterly?
So
Yearly
minimum,
basis?
The steering committee meets monthly, and then the full REPT, which is the CEOs, meets quarterly. The emergency management director may serve as the proxy for the CEO on the REPT, and while they may not have a vote, they are still expected to participate in the meetings or to attend the meetings so that they have, the knowledge of the goings on in the region.
Right, so I understand the meeting requirements, but what would you say is the time commitment for the planning and managing any emergency budget?
That would depend locally on how big a lift it is for locally.
Okay.
How great an overhaul your local emergency operation plan needs. When it's due for update, it's due for update every other year. Our agency provides a template and a checklist of items that your plan needs to meet. You are not required to use the template, though we encourage it, but you do have to meet those checklist items.
Okay.
And so if your LEOP has not been updated in several years and you're non-compliant, it may take a little bit more time and effort to bring your plan up to compliance.
Okay, thank you.
The local emergency management director is also required to participate in the school security plans. Those are submitted to our office annually by November 1st, and they are required to participate in the planning efforts and then ultimately sign off on the plan, as are your municipal service chiefs.
Are there required meetings for your, because he also runs the local emergency planning committees, correct?
Yes, so also through Title 28, the emergency management director is to participate in the local emergency planning committee, or the LEPC. This is co-administered between our agency DEMIS and the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. I do not know specifically if there are required meeting cadences for those organizations.
One follow-up question?
Go on.
Maybe two. Maybe two.
Maybe
The Homeland Security grant money, is that restricted to certain uses, or can you use it for salaries?
The Homeland Security Grant Program is administered regionally, so it's shared amongst all 30 towns.
Mhm.
And that funding is for things like planning initiatives, equipment, and training, so it
Okay.
cannot be used for salary. And any items purchased through the Homeland Security Grant Program have to be available to the region as a whole.
Okay.
The Emergency Management Performance Grant, or the EMPG, which is given directly to the towns, can be used for salary.
Okay.
But it does require a local match.
Okay. And out of all these towns, I know our people have been volunteers. Are there other paid positions for this job, this role?
Yes, there are. So through the state, we see a mix. What we see primarily is either full-time designated emergency management directors, so someone who's full-time and that is all that they do. We also see what we call dual role or dual hatted, so they're an emergency management director and something else, and other duties as assigned, full-time. We also see part-time or stipend emergency management directors, and on occasion, a volunteer.
For a town this size, what would you say it would be? A part-time?
I would say throughout Region 2, what we usually see is either someone who's stipend part-time
Okay.
or someone who is a dual role.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
If I may.
Absolutely.
If you find that a school security plan that's filed is not adequate, do you offer counseling or assistance to the school district to upgrade the plan?
Absolutely. We're more than willing to help a school navigate the plan. We do provide a template annually that typically is given to the schools around the August timeframe to give them a couple of months to prepare their plan. Generally speaking, when we update the template is based on standards, and these were established under Public Act 13-3, which was a result, unfortunately, of the events at Sandy Hook. So the standards get reviewed. After the standards are reviewed, we publish a template so that the plan will meet the standards. Generally, we don't see major changes from year to year. It's usually minor changes every year. And that template is provided to the school so that they can write their plan. But of course, if a school was really, stuck and wanted some extra guidance, we're happy to meet with them.
Do you in any way, any fashion audit that the plan is being implemented during the course of a year?
Yes. So in addition to submitting the plan every year on November 1st, by July 1st after the end of the school year, the schools are required to submit to us drill logs. So they need to conduct 10 total drills throughout the school year, at least 3 what we call crisis, and the others can be fire drills. If there is a real-world incident, for example, if a school needs to go into lockdown for some reason, that counts as a drill. So they are required to log these, and we do provide a form to do that captures certain information, and they submit those to our office by July 1st.
Thank you.
Could this role be a regional role? Could we share with Derby? Could we share with Ansonia? Could we share with Shelton? Or Does it clearly state you have to have one?
You can share if you hire somebody as a contractor, or if you bring in somebody as a contractor, you can share. I would just caution that if emergencies affect more than one jurisdiction, my advice would be to ensure that person can fulfill the role in both communities.
Any other questions?
I'm just gonna ask a clarifying question, because I understood when I first asked, all 30 towns had to have an emergency management director, right? And now you're saying that there can be shared services if, with the caution that more than the one community can be covered?
So per the Public Act, or the state statute rather, the CEO of the town has to have an appointed emergency management director. Certain towns, through labor agreements, this is a hired position where the CEO sort of forfeits their ability to appoint, but as long as you have someone designated.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I will say in Region 2, we do not have any shared emergency management directors.
Can you name some of the towns that are in Region 2, please?
Sure. So for the most part, it's South Central Connecticut, the greater New Haven area. It's sort of an odd-shaped triangle, if you will, that starts down in Milford, follows the coastline out to Old Saybrook, so just this side of the Connecticut River, sort of follows the river up to Middlefield, and then comes down on a diagonal down to Shelton.
So Shelton's in Region 2.
Shelton is in Region 2, yes. So for the Naugatuck Valley, it is Shelton, Derby, and Sonia Seymour.
Have you seen any, for grants? Seymour has applied for their grants,
Yes, Seymour participates in the EMPG program.
and what else do we participate in?
I know that Seymour has applied for the School Security Grant Program, which is bond funding specifically for school security infrastructure. I don't know for certain if there are any other open grants, but we do offer some EOC grants. We administer congressionally directed spending, grants. Those come through, we are the pass-through agency for those grants, and hazard mitigation grants. So things like the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant, or BRIC, or the Hazard Mitigation Program. Again, I can't say for certain. I don't believe Seymour has any open grants under those programs, but they are available. And then, of course, knock on wood, we don't have any disasters at the moment. But should we get any public assistance funding for a disaster, that would be administered through us and available to Seymour as long as we met the certain requirements.
What about training
Anything specific or just in general?
in general?
Sure. So as far as the emergency management director is concerned, as a participant in the EMPG program, there are certain trainings that the EMD is required to take, certain certificates that they are required to achieve, and they need to be submitted to our office so we can ensure that they've done that, and that is a requirement of FEMA of their funding. In addition to that, they are also required to ensure that any staff that may be asked to staff an emergency operations center has the training. Currently, we don't require the EOC staff to have the training, but we do encourage it. Of course, if you're running or operating an emergency operations center, it makes sense to have some background knowledge. It can be quite intimidating to just dive right into. So they are required to maintain training and provide training for any potential EOC staff.
I know that there's a regional hazmat team.
Yes.
From what I did as a living. I know Seymour's not a part of that regional hazmat team. Is Seymour a part of any regional team?
I don't believe so. They have the ability to be. So the current EMD, Chief Edwards, does serve on our ESF4, which is Emergency Support Function 4 firefighting group. We do have the hazmat team for the region. So the hazmat team for Region 2 has 5 what we call branches. One of those branches is the Valley. Derby is the host town for it, but anybody, as long as they have the credentials, can participate in the team.
Does anybody have any other questions? Great. Thank you, Nicole, so much for coming out tonight.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you.
speaking with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Discussion with the Affordable Housing Committee regarding the potential housing needs in the town of Seymour. Hi, please state your name and
My name is Mary Ann Robinson, and I'm the chair of the Affordable Housing Committee. And we have other members here. We have Eugene Chapman, we have Rosalie Burley. I'm sorry. Avera, Allison Pond, and also we have Jenny Rice, who is not able to make it.
No, she's right there.
Marietta
Back there.
Sabetta.
She's not good.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you. So only Marietta Sabetta is not here. Why do we have an affordable housing committee? Well, Connecticut asked every city and town to adopt an affordable housing plan, and they had a choice of adopting one that the state wrote or writing their own, and Seymour adopted their own plan, which they wrote and adopted in December of 2022. And then this committee was appointed at the beginning of this year. Housing is considered affordable when rent or mortgage, real estate taxes, insurance, heat and electricity are not more than 30% of the household's income. So two people working full-time earning $20 an hour could afford to spend $1,560 a month on housing. I searched for an apartment in Seymour and I found one for $1,500. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 612 feet. If you add on, it was $1,500. You add on about $200 for electricity, heat, and insurance, it comes to $1,700 a month, which is over the 30%. And that could be a couple. Maybe they want to have kids, in which case they need another bedroom, and it'd be impossible. In 2022, the latest numbers that are available, 21% of Seymour residents spent between 30 and 50% of their income on housing. 12% spent more than half of their income on housing. Seymour has 393 affordable housing units. 262 are government-assisted buildings. 33 are tenants receiving housing vouchers to help pay for their rent. And 98 are single-family homes with CHFA or USDA mortgages. That's 5.53% of all housing. The goal is 10%. That's what the state says we should have, at least 10%. So our committee strives to educate and engage the community to recommend strategies that Seymour can employ to increase its affordable housing stock. We are planning an information meeting in October, and the goal is for town leaders and members of our community to attend, and more details will be shared in the coming months. We are asking for your help by supporting our efforts to achieve housing so young people can afford to stay in Seymour, working families can afford to live here so local jobs could be filled, and seniors looking to downsize can afford to stay in the community they love. I'll try to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Pat?
Good.
Trish? Can we come back to you?
No, don't come in. I think this is more of a national problem than a Seymour problem right now.
It definitely is a national problem.
Russia.
Thank you for the info.
Yes, thank you for your presentation.
And you're relatively new with your committee, correct?
Yes, we've only met like 4 times. so
Okay.
far, yeah.
Well, sounds like you're getting a lot of information together. Thank you.
We're trying to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you have a date for the October meeting?
We have not. I will let you know soon. We have.
Okay, once you have the date, we'll share it on our Facebook page, we'll share it on our website, and we will be there to support. And you said the number in Seymour is 5.53 and it needs to be 10%, correct? You would happen to know the Alice number?
Jenny probably knows the Alex.
34%?
The last time they did it, it was 30.
Microphone? Sorry.
Please state your name and address for the record.
So Jenny Rice, and I live at 58 Stokerat Street in Seymour. I'm a member of the Affordable Housing Committee. The last time they did the ALICE data was from a couple of years ago, and the ALICE population in Seymour, which ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed, so they're people who have one or more jobs and they are still not able to afford a bare bones household is 34%, with another 5% living in poverty. So it's close to 40% as of a couple of years ago, and that was before the increases in utilities.
Great, thank you. Thank you guys for being here. Is there anything else you need this board to know before we
would
move
like
on?
Everyone to be aware of the plan. I couldn't find it on the website. When I went to search, I don't find our committee listed on the website either.
The affordable housing?
Right, yeah, so
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think it's
know.
on there.
I thought it was there, I don't know if something happened where it wasn't there when I was yesterday.
It was up there. Maybe, it may be under a subcommittee,
Okay.
but we'll look. We'll get taken care of. Rosalie? Name and record, microphone.
Rosalie Averill, 38 North Benham Road, Seymour. I want to just add to what you've already heard. The purpose of the venue of the meeting would be to get everybody involved. Planning and zoning, economic development, the town planner, the building inspector. And the game is to have everybody on board, because we cannot do our job unless we have cooperation from everybody, starting from the top down. We talked about this at the last meeting. We can't promote anything if we don't have the support of the tax office, and I'm sure it comes from the top down, with incentives for low, affordable housing. The question came up, where do people start when they want to know, are there tax incentives to build affordable housing? No builder today wants to take a loss on building something, so they're going to look for incentives. I guess they start with the first select woman or the building inspector, and that was the purpose of this meeting in October, to get these people at our meeting and invite the public so they know where to start. The other question was, the town has to be receptive to modifying their zoning regs, and I'll give you a perfect example. I had a client, I sell real estate, who basically, when COVID hit, he went to, I want to say Fairfield, Westport, Southport, and he talked about expanding the zoning regs to allow dining on the street, because the restaurants were losing money. It was a perfect example. And I said, so why can't you do it here? And he said, your zoning regs just don't allow it. They have to be open-minded with affordable housing and changing the zoning regs to allow this. And I think if we had a joint meeting and the public came, we can see everybody's opinion and get some input from the builders, from the Economic Development Commission. Right now, we're pretty much flying blind. Great.
Thank you. All right, so we'll set up that meeting for October. Kurt will invite the boards to be there. As soon as you get us a date that will work for you, we'll make sure the boards are there.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, thank you guys so much. Item number 8, discussion and possible action regarding the recommendations of the Bungay Elementary School Building Committee to award the bid to feasible study / facility assessment review of the current conditions of the infrastructure of Bungay Elementary School, and to develop the professional conceptual level design plans and cost estimates for the possible actions, extensions / alterations to the school, renovations of the school, and new construction. Selectman Stanek, I will turn this over to you.
Thank you again, Madam First Selectwoman. Thank you. The Bungay Elementary School Building Committee, as First Selectwoman indicated, is recommending that this board award the bid for the feasibility and assessment study of the school to Antonazzi Associates for the sum of $44,750. Antonazzi Associates is the lowest, or was the lowest bidder, but also is well qualified to assist us in trying to bring this plan to referendum. This will be the first phase of the project and would take us hopefully to referendum sometime early next year. Antonazzi Associates is going to present a renovation plan, an expansion, with that expansion, a renovate like new, and also the possibility of building a new school on site. That's not our intention, but it's for comparison purposes to compare costs and what the reimbursement levels would be for renovation versus new school.
Is there any questions?
Yes. Has the committee looked at Antonazzi as far as other projects that they may have done in this area
Yes,
or other areas?
yes. Antonazzi is not being hired to be the ultimate architect of the plan.
Understand that.
Of the project. Antonazzi was the first architect with regard to Chatfield Lopresti some 10 years ago. And they did an excellent job in getting us through the referendum. They appeared to be well-versed in knowing the routes to pass through to get the state approval for reimbursement and the necessary approvals and giving us preliminary plans. Whether Antonazzi will continue on as the ultimate architect will be the decision of the committee at another time.
Very good.
Trish?
I was part of the Chatfield Lopresti Building Committee, and Antonazzi did an excellent job as far as the preliminary plans, and I think for what they're being the lowest bid, the options that they will be showing the committee for the comparison purposes and understanding their background and skill at the state level is well supported.
I think Fred covered it in his letter. I don't have any questions. I just would follow up with Pat's question just to make sure I'm clear, Fred. So we have good experience with Antonazzi doing these types of plans. Have they
Yes.
ever done anything in terms of the building, like being picked as the architect to move forward with the building phase?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
thought so, because I recognized the name. I was just making sure.
That's where I think I was going with.
Is that where you're going to, Pat? Yeah, because it,
Wasn't trying to mislead anybody.
thanks.
Thank you, Teresa. We're kind of stuck over here, so I can't catch the eye. I just wanted to say, I've worked on many school construction projects with the Antonazzi firm. It is an experienced firm into their third generation, and they have designed and seen from the beginning to fruition a great many of landmark schools in our area. They are a well-known and well-established firm.
Thank you.
I just had a question. When could you expect, like, the concepts, plans? How long does that take for them to do that?
About 4 months.
Okay. Thank you.
And then we could discuss going to referendum.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. Or
Motion.
Second.
Motion. Trish? Sorry, from Teresa to accept the Antonacci Associates for the sum of $44,750. Al Bruno, second.
If I may, I would ask that the motion include the authority of the first selectwoman to sign the contract.
Okay. So we're gonna make a motion for the $44,750 with the authority for the first select person to sign the contract to get this going, rather rapidly. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. One step down, many to go.
John, Fred.
Great job to the Bungie Committee and to you, Selectman Stanek, for chairing this on.
I have to abstain.
Oh, I didn't get that part, sorry. Abstention, so motion carries 5-0-1. Please note Trish Danka's abstention. Thank you. Okay, item number 11, discussion and possible act,
10.
10, sorry, discussion and possible action regarding town-owned properties. Attorney Petrillo? What? I remember.
We were otherwise engaged for one moment on the Antonazzi motion. So we are on Item number 9,
10.
10,
10.
I have to
town-owned
break you up over
properties.
there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So this is just sort of a heads up. The town administration has been looking at some town-owned properties or properties in which the town may own an interest, such as a paper street. And we will be bringing back perhaps as many as 3 or 4 properties for consideration to go through a possible transfer or sale process. One of them is a piece in the Dolan Circle area.
Yes.
Another one is a paper street in the area of Birch Street. And the third, you may recall, maybe not Teresa, but the rest of you, I believe, were on. We took a title to a piece of property on Norr Avenue through a tax foreclosure. So that is something that the administration's looking to put back out and put back on the tax rolls. So this will be happening. We're presently updating title searches or obtaining title searches to make sure we fully understand our interest, and then we'll be coming back to make recommendations.
Discussion?
Just a heads up. Thank you.
Any discussion? Okay, thank you. Discussion and possible action regarding an award bid for Route 4267 Connector Road and the Naugatuck Greenway. Mr. Miller,
Thank you very much, Madam First Selectwoman.
speak into the mic, please. Thank you.
Obviously, it's my first meeting as well. So in your package, you'll find an email that was sent out to the committee that is working on this project. The committee consisted of First Selectman Jerry Smith of Beacon Falls, First Selectwoman Dragonis, Tom Haynes, the developer, Sheila O'Malley, our economic development consultant, and myself. We solicited RFQs for planned design phase for the Route 42, Route 67 connector. We received 3 RFQs, one from Langen, one from VHB, and one from Luke's DeCarlo and Dahl. They go by both names depending. We reviewed all of the submissions. We were very pleased that we got 3 exceptional firms, in our opinion, to submit to this. We have firsthand working knowledge with all 3 firms in different capacities amongst the 5 of us. And it was determined by the group that the best fit to move this project forward would be going with Langen. That was the unanimous decision of the group. So based on conversations with Attorney Paterla, because the grant is through the town of Seymour, it would fall under the direct approval of the Board of Select Persons. So we wanted to bring this tonight for your approval. Once that is done, Sheila will then forward all of the information onto the state, start to engage Langen, and start to move this project forward.
And this money is using the money that we received,
Yeah,
$3 million.
Yeah, we roughly have $3 million for this grant. And this is just the design phase. This is not the actual building of the road itself. The road and the greenway.
Any questions?
I'm just a little confused. You said this is a committee?
Well, it's an ad hoc committee that was put together, yes.
Is this something that we're required to use? I'm sorry for my ignorance. Lowest bid?
It's an RFQ,
Okay,
so it's just for qualifications.
thank you.
It was either we had to get this going, and correct me if I'm wrong, Urban Development, they were asking us where we stood on this, and we had to get this going, or they were going to take the money back. And to quote Rosa DeLore, she says, do not have them take this money back again.
Right.
Because we already got a grant once before for this.
I understand that. Will this help us get towards that point of, I know we put in for the money for the roadway from the state before. Will this, what we're doing on this, help that?
I believe so, because I think with the state and the federal government want to see is that we are actually taking steps. We're not just asking for the money to ask for the money. We are saying, okay, we got the money. Now we have to put our
Here's
money
the
where the
plan.
mouth
Right,
is.
okay,
Yeah, this plan will turn us into a shovel-ready project.
okay.
And again, we included for Selectman Smith because obviously this road encompasses a large portion of Beacon Falls, so we wanted to make sure that Beacon Falls was included in the conversations and process as well.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Chair votes aye, motion carries 501. Please note Trish Danka's abstention. Thank you. Item number 12, discussion and possible action regarding a bid waiver for truck refurbishing for the Department of Public Works pursuant to section 2.268, set special town meeting for Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6:45 in the Norman Drummer Room, Senior Town Hall for bid waiver and purchase authorization for the refurbishing of a truck for the Department of Public Works. Frank Gabonelli.
So I come before you tonight to ask for your consideration to waive the bid process. The Public Works Department has secured the funding needed to refurbish one of our trucks. This truck will have multiple uses. It will serve as a plow truck with capabilities to change the rear body from a sander to a dumpster to a chip box. In an effort to maintain consistency within our fleet, I'm asking the Board of Select Persons to waive the bid process. The vendor would be that we would like to use is Truck Builders of Connecticut, and he's done our last two refurbishments. And part of this build is sole source. He's the only one that procures part of this build. We've had great success with this vendor, and he's been very reasonable to the town.
Before we come up, Frank, can you just state your name
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
position?
Frank Gabonelli, Director of Public Works.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions?
Just what is a chip box?
So the chip box is, we would tow the chipper, and when you're chipping,
Got
it
it.
chips into
Yep.
it. The dumpster, whenever there's town events, we can drop a dumpster and leave it. We see football games, Seymour Pink, stuff like that. And then like the sander, we could take on and off. There's multiple other pieces of equipment that we could procure for this truck. These are just the really three important things that I thought would be beneficial to the town. So,
Okay, and this piece of equipment is a piece of, the vehicle was surplus to the Public Works Department previously. And just to go along with what Frank has said, if we were to go out tomorrow and looked at the cost of purchasing a new vehicle, we would probably be looking in excess of $300,000. So securing the money and actually hopefully waiving the bid process, we will be substantially saving a lot of money moving forward.
this truck also will serve as our backup. Last year, we had one of our 4-year-old trucks go down during the middle of the winter for an extensive period of time. We had no backup, so we were using the payloader, which isn't optimal. So,
Any other questions? Comments? May I have a motion, please?
So moves.
Motion
Second.
by Pat Lombardi, second by Al Bruno. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstentions?
Abstain.
Motion, chair votes aye, motion carries 601. Please note Selectwoman Danka's abstention. Thank you.
thank you all for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Item number 13, discussion and possible action regarding a proposal to rename the park located at the corner of Broad Street and River Street, sometimes known as Broad Street Park. I will turn this over to Selectman Stanek as he No, we already.
That's what we did, right?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
As he has brought this to my attention. Sorry.
Thank you again. Earlier this year, this board, as we recall, passed an ordinance concerning the naming of facilities and areas owned by the town of Seymour. And the first step in someone asking that an area or a park, such as the park or facility be named, is to bring a proposal to this board. And so I have presented a proposal to name the park at the corner of Broad Street and River Road, to rename it. It's been known as the Broad Street Park, Champions Park, Seymour Korean Vietnam Memorial Park, and perhaps other names over the years. This is a beautiful park. It's been developed by the VFW over the years. It's now enhanced by the Culture and Arts Commission, and I think it deserves an appropriate name other than Broad Street Park. I suggest a few names, such as Fallsview Park, Fallsview Memorial Park, Humphreysville Park, Humphreysville Overlook Park, because the park overlooks the area that was known as Humphreysville as part of Derby once upon a time. So I asked the board to approve this to go to public hearing, and that we proceed. I welcome other names, other proposed names, so anyone who has another name, I would welcome hearing about it.
I think Selectwoman
I do, and
Conroy has a name.
I'm so happy that you brought this forward. And I forgot to bring some of my research for you tonight, but in the Seymour Past and Present book on page 26, in William Sharp's book, I know you can get it at the library. It's very limited copies out there. As we sit here tonight, we look at the seal in front of us and the seal behind us. And as much as I like the Humphreysville part, General Humphreys, I feel, was just here for a very short time, where I believe, and I can't say the names, but Joseph Choose, who was the Indian.
Yes.
I take
You are-
it that's our
You are
symbol.
correct.
Overlooks the falls right there, and that's where the Indians that were here before any of us were, that was their settlement. So I would like to throw out there's something related to the Indians that were here long before all of us. Fallsview Park sounds nice, but we have the Fallsview Apartments right like on the other side of it. But I think to honor it, I mean, like I said, in our town seal, that is the falls there. You know, they called it Little Niagara back in the day. I don't think we need to name it Little Niagara Park, but something to honor our Indian heritage, I think I would like to see.
Shoosh Falls.
Yeah, and his last name was really Joseph, like Mauwha. I mean, I could never say the word in a million years,
I was
but,
gonna say
I
it's
don't-
rather,
but something along,
yeah.
and I don't know if we need to act on this tonight?
The next step would be to send this to public hearing
Correct.
Correct.
within 30 days, if we wish to do so.
I don't have a name for the park, but I would like to see that it was somehow
Well,
related.
maybe you could think of a name to present at the public hearing.
Oh, okay. All right, if that's what we're gonna do, yeah.
We can.
If that's
we-
where we're gonna do it at. I can come up
We
with
could
something.
solicit names from the public,
Yeah.
potential names.
And hopefully in 30 days, we will come up with an appropriate name for that park. I was a volunteer there during construction of that park, along with a lot of other folks. I spent a lot of hours over there, so my heart is in the right
Yeah.
place on this, and
It-
I certainly would like to see it named appropriately.
It is a beautiful park. The only thing I would like, and I write letters too, there's no crosswalks over to that park.
Right.
And I mean, I know it's a state road on
Well,
different sides, but from going from Congregational Church over,
River Street does have one.
right, you have to go over that way and then that way and then this way.
Yeah,
It's-
right.
You know, you're crossing more paths of traffic without having a crosswalk there.
I have a meeting with the DOT
Okay.
next week, and that's one of the things I'm bringing up with
Perfect.
them.
I do recall that this board, many, many years ago, explored a crosswalk, perhaps from the driveway into the community center across to the park. And DOT at that time indicated that it was not allowed because
Yeah,
of
there's
its
no-
requirements to be so far from an intersection.
Correct.
Could
Yeah.
be.
There were issues. Mr.
Yeah, it was
Miller
8 or 9 years ago, I believe we looked at that.
Yeah.
Safety.
But perhaps maybe there are different people at the DOT at this time.
Well, there are.
One would hope.
Yeah. All right.
Many
I like
moves.
the idea of also, maybe initiating, some public feedback.
Absolutely.
We could,
Absolutely.
I don't know how we'd wanna do that, just post it online, but
I was thinking
that would be nice.
maybe the kids in the schools.
30 days, school doesn't start for 30 days.
I know, but what if we
I don't, what is the
delay at
rush?
45 or
Is there a
60
rush?
and
Not a rush.
let the kids chime in? Just a thought. We could have a competition.
I support the idea because it's a beautiful park, but let's do it the right way. I don't think we need to rush it. Is anyone opposed to? That's a
I'm
nice
not in
idea
a rush.
too.
Are you in a rush?
I'm not in a rush. I've talked about this for several years.
You have.
Mhm.
So, why don't at our next meeting in August, we come up with some ideas on how we can get the Board of Ed involved, we can get the schools. Oh, Miss Becky Beth is here from the schools. So we can get the schools involved as well, and get it out there so we can have suggestions from the public, and then we can just have the list at the public meeting. Maybe we have the public meeting in October or something.
You could also blitz and have some pamphlets prepared in the various town offices, i.e. the town clerk's office, so that people coming in might be interested in, filling out a piece of paper with a name on it. Just an idea.
That's a good idea. All right.
Given that, I'm going to make a motion that we waive section 2 of the ordinance requiring the board to consider the proposal at a public hearing within 30 days and ask that we extend that period to 90 days.
Motion by Fred. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trish. Teresa? It was Teresa?
Teresa.
Second by Teresa, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Just
Right.
go back out of the order for 12A pursuant to section 2.268, set a special town meeting for Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6:45, you're right, Al, in the Norma Drummer Room of Seymour Town Hall for bid waiver and purchase authorization for the refurbishing of a truck for the Department of Public Works. Can I have a motion?
So
Motion by Al,
Second.
second by Trish. Discussion, we were supposed to make that second meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. So there's two special town meetings that night. One's at 6:30, one's at 6 o'clock, and one is at 6:45. Okay. Okay. Item number 14, executive session. Can I have a motion to go into executive session for I can't say that.
Surgeontakis versus Ditria, I would ask that it be with the members of the Board of Select Persons, Mr. Miller, and myself as town council. It is a matter of pending litigation. And as for the second matter, which it has been moved down earlier in the agenda, item 14B, dealing with the L-shaped parcel, I would ask that that go into executive session because it involves a discussion and consideration of a possible purchase of real property such that if the discussion were held in public session, it may materially affect the price.
Motion, I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trish. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
Leave it there.
You could make sure your microphones are off.
Should be one. Garbage?
All
I
set?
was like, we must be really good tonight. People waited and came back.
I make a motion to come out of executive session at 8:21.
And for the record, there were no votes or actions taken during the executive session.
Second.
Okay, great, thank you.
I abstain.
I know you abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
501, please note, Selectman Stanix, abstention. Okay, number 15, discussion of possible action regarding legal matters discussed in executive session.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to consent to the insurance carrier's resolution of the Surgeon-Takis versus Ditria matter.
Second.
Motion by Al, second by Trish. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
I'd also like to make a motion to send to 824 review the proposed L-shaped parcel, which is also an easement at 57 Bungay Road.
Seconded.
Motion by Al, second Lombardi, second by Pat Lombardi. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, everyone. Appointments, there are no appointments. Transfers, there's no transfers. Tax refunds and abatements, please look at your 2-page for tax abatements. And tax refunds and abatements, sorry.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Al. Discussion.
Do we have a lot of them on here this reporting time because of,
Not meeting.
their
for-
well, I was gonna say leases? Do
Lisa's,
people pay their taxes and then the leasing company pays, or it just seems like there's a lot of lease things on here this month.
so I think with the lease, I'm not sure how a lease works, but I think the leasing company pays the taxes.
Yeah, because technically the person doesn't own the vehicle yet.
Right. The leasing company does.
So they may have traded in
Like
the
a
car between
Okay.
that time.
It just seemed like there's a lot of those on here this time.
There is.
I think we see a lot because July was a taxpayer.
Right, that's,
Yeah, that too.
And we didn't meet in July. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait, do I have a motion?
Yes, I made
Okay.
the motion.
She made the motion.
6-0, thank you.
Thank you.
Correspondences, no correspondences. Public comment. Is there any public comment? Public comment going the second time. Public comment going the third time. No public comment. Select persons, public comment. We will start with Pat.
I'm all set. I'm all set, thank you, man.
Okay, Trish,
I believe I'm all set this evening.
right next. Al.
I just want to say thank you, she left, but to Ms. Velarde for a very comprehensive emergency management discussion. She was really prepared and hit all the notes for us and answered all our questions very clearly. So she's obviously very good at what she does. Want to thank Frank for coming and asking us for the refurbishment and doing a great job as he always does. And that's really it, other than, stay safe, and I hope your basements don't flood with all this horrible weather.
5 inches of rain coming. You better knock on wood, brother. Selectman Stanley.
Yes, thank you. I would like to renew my objection to the small print on the agenda and the tax collector report. Your chair,
Tax collector report.
No, he said agenda.
I said and agenda.
Al, he said tax collector report.
We will do 12 point.
You're challenging an old guy like
12 point is standard.
Yeah, eyeballs getting a little strained here.
I can read it,
Trying to save
Ditto.
paper, but
right?
I would also like to request that we schedule an awards committee meeting.
oh yeah.
The award nominations we're doing by August 1st.
When do you want to do that more? You want to do it for your second meeting in August?
That would be the next meeting in
Yeah.
August, yes.
You wanna do
It'll be
that?
short, 15 minutes.
Through Madam Chairwoman, doing it at the August 20th meeting is going to be problematic because we do have two hearings. You guys would have to start around 5:30 if you wanted to do that.
Why don't we do it after the meeting then?
That's entirely up to the members of the committee.
It's up to you guys.
I'll stay if you want.
Okay, so after the meeting then.
Yep, we'll do it after.
So we'll just add it to the agenda. Well, no, we'll separate agenda. So you'll send me, Attorney?
Maybe
Send it?
schedule a meeting for, what, 8:30?
If you just want to send me what you want, I'll put an agenda in
Say it.
based on what we have on the select
I would
person's
say 8
agenda.
o'clock. Our next meeting
Yeah.
won't be so long.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
With that, I rest.
You rest. Rest your case.
You rest.
Rest. Teresa.
I just wanted to say the concert series are going very well up at the firehouse. If you
are.
haven't been there, you should try to get up to the next one. And thank you for adding in the All In for Seymour on the webpage. But I don't think the Bungay School Building Committee's on there.
It's not.
It's not. Will it go on there?
It's like a subcommittee of another committee.
Okay.
Do you usually do that?
No,
I don't think so.
No?
no,
done
because
that
there's just,
historically.
then it all gets lost.
You got a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not in like underneath the Board of Ed or anywhere then?
It'd be
They're
part
just
of
that.
Yeah, it's a subcommittee. It's a
Oh,
special subcommittee, technically, right? Because
yeah.
you don't have a building committee all the time. It's a special appointment with a special committee, and the people change.
But I think I know, you want
You want
the
notice,
minutes to
right?
be put on there.
You want notice of the
people can look-
meetings, and
yeah.
then people can see what's discussed.
Well, they have a set
Doesn't the
every
Board of Ed
month.
do
You
that?
have it. No,
We typically do, but we visually this week.
I just threw it up there. I know she's on it.
Go ahead.
We typically do have it, but we pushed it off because we needed to get approval for this
Yes.
Antonowski Associates, but we are meeting, what do we normally say?
Next Tuesday.
Right, but
The
it's
second-
it's like
the second Tuesday.
of every month.
We tried.
So this was the assessment needs committee, correct? No, this is the
no,
building committee.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put something
Well,
up.
if I may, you and I spoke about a separate website for the committee so that we can make the public aware of what we're doing as we approach the referendum.
It's like a website or a page on the website,
Whichever.
like a drop down or something, like a link.
We can make a page.
We can make a.
We'll make a page on the website.
Another
yeah.
town is going through a process, they have a separate website for the school improvement committee.
I don't know if I do a separate website, we can link it to our
Yeah,
town
whatever.
page.
I just want to make, that there's visibility to the public.
Yeah,
as
I would think we
approach
would want it
referendum.
like to
Yeah.
the town,
Yeah.
or I don't care,
Yep.
someone's page.
I think what we'll do on the main page,
Go out to it.
sorry, I through you, Madam Chair. I think what we'll do on the main page is we'll take out the 24-25 budget process, which is really smack dab in the middle, and we can just put Bungay School addition. So when you go to the main page, it's literally right there,
It's right there.
center
Yeah.
screen. You
People
can't miss
know.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want whatever information you guys want to send over, back whatever, we'll get put up.
Thank
So,
you.
not a problem.
I was just looking for the minutes, but that sounds even better. And then my last final request is, can the organizational chart, I know back a few months ago, we talked about it, we brought it out, and it was gonna get more work on it. Can we see a new rendition of it soon?
Yes,
Thank you. And that's it for me tonight.
that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So, for Selectwoman's report, the fiscal year 23 annual comprehensive finance report is finally completed, and a copy going to be provided to all. Ta-da.
Ah,
To all
thank you.
members. Teresa, you had asked for a
Yep.
hard copy. We normally send this off PDF,
Okay,
so we don't kill little trees.
I know. And that's why I asked you to print it, so I wouldn't have to. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, so you want to save the paper,
Oh, yeah.
but the town doesn't have to save the
Oh, I paid down for this.
So here's the report for everybody to look at. It's the annual comprehensive finance report, which is actually more information than the audit. We will have our finance director at the next meeting.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, I would advise everybody to read the 179 pages as I did today.
If you have insomnia.
If you have insomnia,
I
any
do find
questions?
this stuff riveting,
So do I. So
Good
do
luck.
I find it riveting. Like reading compliance reports, it's riveting. Hard copy, we'll have the finance director at the next meeting. Any questions, you can ask him. The town of Seymour has also received the Certificate of Excellent Finance Reporting for the past 9 years. Seymour's underlying finances remain strong, as they have been in the past years. We also have the contract, Teresa, that you had requested for the football and softball field the
Thank
town
you.
received from 2015. So everybody is well.
Thank you.
Because if Teresa or someone has questions, then
Yep.
we as a board have all looked at it and we all can answer it together. Ooh. Yeah. There you go. Sorry, Ms. Lombardi. And then also, Teresa, you had asked me for the 165 Main Street. There is no lease, there's a licensing agreement
Okay.
that we have with the state of Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
This was discussed and accepted at the January 2nd
Uh-huh.
meeting.
So no lease.
There is no lease, it's a licensing agreement. Attorney Bertula, do you want to talk about that one?
I'm happy to remind everybody, yes, the State Department of Transportation issued a license agreement in favor of the town of Seymour of indefinite term that will remain in effect unless and until there's a lease agreement put together. But DOT has indicated to me that as far as they're concerned, that license agreement will be in place for a very long time.
And the second to your thing, we have never received any grants to maintain that piece of property. The town maintains that property. Okay. And as far as employees, we have filled the following positions: a blight officers, records clerk at the PD, a land use assistant, a new laborer at the Public Works and at the library, and an offer is out on the accounts payable position. New businesses that come in: Newport Health opened one of their buildings. Wildflowers is open. Those cupcakes are delicious. The grand opening will be in September. In September, there will also be one for a Halloween themed store that will be open 365. It's at 155 Main Street, the the Odd Fellows and Greenwich Workshop building. Down there, the cannabis facility, they're waiting on state approval. The Corner Deli, that's on the corner of Progress and 67, is under new management. The food is delicious. And there's a new owners of Congino's on Route 34. We're going to go down there and meet with them as well. And we're going to continue with our Small Business Wednesdays that I do live on the Facebook. Just to let everybody know what's going on and what businesses are in Seymour. It seems to be working well. The businesses are saying that after we do the reviews on Wednesday, people go to their site. They're like, "Oh, we never knew you were here." It's like, "Oh, okay, great." And the new Sensory Playground is opened at Chatfield Park. I wanted to thank the Public Works Department for all their hard work on that. Bungay, Botsford, West Church Street Road, where our Aquarion is still putting the water main in. We are now waiting for Frontier to put the lights in. We'll be going out to bid in August. The road construction will start in September. That road is going to be torn up for over a year. Once we get the bids back in, we will have a public hearing. Not a public hearing, sorry, a public meeting to let the residents and everybody in that area know what's going on, when the construction is going to start. Route 67 widening project is still ongoing. I know there's a couple issues over there. I know Brian is working with the state on that one, as well as Mr. Jakomowski. Pearl Street, I know the chief of police has more people up there, more officers up there monitoring. There's been more infractions going out with people running the red lights up there. Rental rebate applications are accepted until September 30th. Please see Dawn at the community center. We spoke about Cogino's, the Halloween store. There's a new golf station. The golf station at 53 New Haven Road, that's the new owner. The only difference from the last owner is that he now sells soda and chips at the gas station as well. And that one's open. The events we have going on: August 10th is supposed to be the Build a Backpack Townwide Scavenger Hunt, but with the rainstorm coming in, we gave the rain date of Sunday, August 11th, and this is the backpack that is being given out. And then one of four, I can't show you, but this is the scavenger list. Look real quick so no one knows the answer. It's the scavenger list that is going out. And then some of the winners will be receiving a little Chromebook in Mr. Stanek. If you look, what's it say on the bottom?
Once a wildcat, always a wildcat.
So those will be going on there. So I want to thank Love Mom, M&T Bank. They did a lot of work, as well as Bushy Bond, for all their hard work. We're looking at doing this throughout to have it every year. We're also gonna do our first community night movie, the same night we do the backpack, and we have to thank Pat Knott for donating the money to get the outside, movie frame and everything that goes with it, the computer, the projector. August 24th is the Ansonia Seymour fireworks. They're gonna be let off from the Farrell parking lot. August 28th is the first day of school. September 15th is the Pumpkin Festival. October 5th is paving, pounding the pavement. October 26th is the downtown trick or treat, as well as a trunk or treat at the high school. December 1st is the Christmas parade, because Thanksgiving is awfully late this year. So it's November 28th, so the Christmas parade is going to be December 1st, and it goes to the community center. November 28th is Thanksgiving, yeah.
Okay.
So the Christmas parade goes from the community center to French Park. December 7th, Santa arrives off the train, and December 14th, we light off the fireworks at the high school. Now we're doing it. But September 1st is Seymour Day. And this is something new to Seymour. What we're trying to do is get the kids excited about going back to school, as well as get the community involved and show off our campuses, show off our teams, to bring the enthusiasm and the camaraderie back to Seymour that it used to be. Get the kids excited about going to a football game on a Friday night. Get the kids excited about being involved in not just sports, but being involved in theater. We now have a theater company here in Seymour that they are at the middle school. It's about getting everybody involved and getting the kids excited about going back to school. I think that is all I have.
All those dates that you just gave us, can we get a copy of that?
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely.
I couldn't write them
There's
all
a
down
lot.
fast enough.
We can create a lot more enthusiasm for football if we restore the old Housatonic League.
Boom.
Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Football was big with the Housatonic League.
And just one comment that I would make, Madam First Selectwoman. We don't want to lose sight of our assessor opening, so we should be reminding our HR director to go out and be looking at those candidates. I believe the date of the new arrivals or the certifications is coming very close, so we want to be sure that we're addressing that.
Correct. The assessor's position, they actually, our HR person has been looking. There are no assessors online.
No.
Kurt, but October is when the new testing is done.
That's what I was going to say, through you, Madam Chairwoman.
Sure you
The next test is October. So the expectation is there will be a new batch of candidates.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll be able to avail ourselves of one of those candidates.
That's what I'm getting at.
Hopefully. It's a very hard test.
Okay. And with that, I make a motion to adjourn.
Just
So moved.
mansplaining.
You're welcome.
Right?
Good, how are you?
I will.
Poison ivy on it, it'd be a bonus.
Sorry about all those.
It'd be like a poison on a pig leaf dart. I'd put a little poison ivy on it.
Good. Good.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't take, I don't have back pains. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
So he's texting instead I'm at Anne
That's
Marie,
funny.
do you know Violano?
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Teddy Bear Tree
Yes.
So I was asking her about.
Oh,
her
Dom
bachelor
and
day.
Anne Marie.
My
My
husband just
daughter's
had
very good
bachelor
friends
day.
with their
Yes,
daughter, yeah.
they're both wonderful girls.
Yeah.
So I was asking Anne Marie, what is the
like
medicine you take for your back? And she's like,
I don't
back
like
problems.
that.
I just have cholesterol. And I'm like,
No.
what? You just
Conditioning
said
stuff, it's all
no.
good.
And I was getting, and then I was like, she's like, this is the
walking
wrong
out.
Anne Marie. I'm like,
Walking out,
oh,
Fred.
God.
Or I'll see you soon.
Anyway, I'll see you this weekend, Anne Marie.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Yes, congratulations. Yes.
Are you taking questions?
Yeah.
He has 4 questions. I don't know if he'll remember